Hello and welcome back to A Journey to King's Cross, a Harry Potter book podcast. We have Chapter 8, Flight of the Fat Lady. And our artwork for today is the goblet, which I'm guessing is the one that has the potion in it that Lupin ends up taking.
The poison potion!
The potion for Lupin. That potion?
Lupin's
Yes, that potion!
Okay.
Got you covered.
We could have made that a better bit than it was, but I'm sure you all understand the reference there.
Nothing quite like repeating yourself a couple of times and really to pad out that word count in college.
Yep.
But, yeah, I gotta admit, it looks really nice compared to the way Harry actually ends up describing it and everything, so we'll get to that point when we get to it and everything. Well, we get, of course, the fact that Malfoy is constantly bitching and complaining about whatever in order to gain attention, even though nobody else actually gives a damn what he has to say. His importance in the school fluctuates as the plot needs it.
I think it just depends on, because, he's popular with his group of friends, and the Slytherins, of course, but the Gryffindors just kind of don't give a shit at this point. They're like, okay, whatever.
As early as year one, the Gryffindors were, ready to throw fucking down on him. Like, oh, you want to talk shit? Let's go!
On the floor?
And given the nature of the fact that he gets so much special treatment in their freaking classes and stuff, I can understand why, Gryffindors in general just hate the Slytherins.
Yeah.
The allowed bias by Snape probably did more damage to House Unity
Solidarity.
than anything else any other teacher could have done.
Yeah.
Because at its worst, the whole house shit should have been just friendly competition between the different houses.
Yeah.
Snape is going out of his way to make it intentionally much more of a war than something, a friendly competition.
We all know that Slytherins are better, but, we don't have to rub it in everybody's faces.
No. But Snape does, so, because he's a dick.
I'm not biased at all because I'm a Slytherin. Not at all. Those stupid Gryffindors.
Yeah.
But I did marry one, so that was kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, the guy who doesn't care about Harry Potter, at all.
He cares a little.
We did offer him the opportunity to come in and join us and everything, and he had
declined.
no interest. So, it ain't enough to talk about it for, 45 an hour, hour-long periods?
We're not worth his time, apparently.
To be fair, we've jumped into doing 2 tonight and everything, so this is technically our second recording for
but
5
it's on the
or
same
12,
day as
25.
the last week's.
Yeah. So, it's still going up at its regular time and everything. We managed to finally get a buffer going since somebody decided that they wanted to be sick for 2 weeks straight.
I didn't decide anything.
It was totally intentional. She totally got sick on purpose.
Look, man, I'm going to go with I got cursed by somebody at a graveyard because I walked on a grave. Unfortunately, in a graveyard, it's pretty impossible to not walk on a grave.
Yeah.
Details. Who needs them?
I mean, look, I did see the greatest tombstone ever. It was one said butt lover, and the other one said lover of butts.
That's great.
And then it had a picture of 2 people hugging but holding butts. I showed you guys this picture.
No, you did not.
No.
I definitely did.
No, you did not.
We would remember
Okay.
that.
Well, I have.
We
the
didn't even
picture
know you
still.
went to a graveyard.
Yeah.
Within the last...
I told you.
No.
Because Cameron
Do
had
you not see the face on Brandy here?
No, because
if both of us are forgetting...
Cameron's great aunt died, so we had to go to the funeral. And that's why we didn't hang out with you the next day.
Hold on, I thought
so-
only Cameron had to go because he was the one complaining.
Yeah,
about
who was
it.
gonna drive him?
So I don't think you explicitly stated that you were at a cemetery. It's obviously implied when you go to a funeral.
It says it was lover butt and butt lover.
Yeah.
And the top of the tombstone even looks like a butt.
Did you send that to us at all?
I thought I showed it to you.
No.
When I hung out with you guys the next time. Well, great. I'm correcting my mistake now.
We have seen the tombstone.
Surprisingly poetic, I suppose. Anyway, good to know that apparently you pissed somebody off in the afterlife. Congratulations.
Look, man, the funniest part is that these people were born in the 1930s. And look, man, butt humor, it's timeless.
Yeah, but you go back a couple of decades, it feels less like something. Yeah, whatever. People were weird back then and everything. They just didn't advertise it as much as we do these days. We're all starting to realize we're all our own level of freak and everything, and that it's not exactly the worst thing in the universe to, express it a little bit in public.
Let your freak flag fly.
To a degree. I don't exactly want to see any naked people running around, but that's beside the point. But, yeah. We do get a bit of a rundown towards the beginning of the flight of the fat lady. This chapter jumps around quite a bit. We start off with them re-catching up on classes. Snape being a complete and utter dirtbag to Neville, which, after the previous chapter, kind of makes a little bit of sense. I feel like any decent teacher would have probably either, one, laughed it off, or two, reconsidered their entire life choices for being the greatest fear of one of their students. But, self-awareness isn't exactly one of Snape's strong suits, to be perfectly honest.
Right.
We get Trelawney talking about the fact that she was, so irreverential towards him and everything, and how that was also annoying. Obviously, both positive attention and negative attention to either extreme could be very suffocating and unpleasant. I feel like I'd rather deal with Snape and hating him in peace than having to deal with Trelawney talking about how I'm going to die every single 5 minutes, but, personal opinion on all that. They do make a comment about Pavati and Lavender, which is kind of nice that Harry seems to be aware of some of his fellow classmates and everything, even if it's not exactly the most positive, opinion when it comes to a fellow classmate,
And then we get the argument about the thing that Lavender's been dreading.
Not yet, actually.
No, not yet?
After
Almost.
this, we get the Quidditch speech with Wood and everything, because that starts actually coming into play. Wood
this
talking
is my
up
last chance.
Our last chance.
My last chance.
Our
last chance as this specific team comprised of these members led by me specifically.
So, therefore, my last chance.
Yeah. I like how everybody's kind of
they feel guilty.
They build them up a little bit. Though, to be honest,
we'll do it, Wood.
We promise.
Harry's first year, they should have had a substitute. Unless their seeker was Charlie Weasley and he left last year and everything.
They could have postponed the match a day or two.
One would think they would take the courtesy, but to be even more honest, it's wild that the final Quidditch match is so late in the year.
Yeah.
Because Harry didn't get into any activity until, after, I think it was end of year exams were already taken care of, and were getting ready to be posted.
Yeah.
So it's wild to me that the last Quidditch match of the season took so late, and I don't think it ever is that late in the rest of the books.
I was actually looking up for who won, and it did tell me, the breakdown of when they had the matches. Let me find that again. Okay. First match is Gryffindor versus Slytherin in the first or second weekend in November. The second match is Hufflepuff versus Ravenclaw the third or fourth weekend in November. And then Ravenclaw versus Slytherin, third or fourth weekend in February. Then Gryffindor versus Hufflepuff, the beginning of March. Hufflepuff versus Slytherin, the end of May. The beginning of May. And then Gryffindor versus Ravenclaw at the end of May.
I don't think Ravenclaw was ever, the actual, I don't think we actually get a Harry versus Ravenclaw until, this year, I think. Because this is the introduction of Cho Chang and Cedric Diggory.
Knock her off her broom.
Stop being a gentleman. But yeah.
But spoilers.
Because, year one, we have Harry being unconscious for, last one of the season. And apparently they couldn't be bothered to actually find and train up somebody to at least do the damn job.
Or again, delay it a day. Hey guys, we're gonna just quick time out.
Yeah, it's they completely switch up the entire schedule for Malfoy this year and everything.
Right,
and they couldn't be bothered to do it for Harry after getting attacked by an adult.
Right.
Harry makes so much more sense getting a bye on that and everything than anyone else.
Harry was attacked by a teacher. You are a little scaredy shit.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you that like that makes very little sense in terms of my personal opinion. Year 2 makes a lot more sense. They canceled the whole frickin' season because of the whole like snake issue and everything.
Well, not the whole season, just the rest of it.
Well, yeah.
Because they had a match.
Yeah, but
because Harry lost an arm.
You do realize that's 3 matches he didn't. So like, that's basically like he got
Yeah,
one
yeah.
match and then the rest, like the season
They were
itself, was
about to
just
have
canceled.
their next match, and then it got canceled because Hermione got attacked.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it, Hermione, always ruining Quidditch for everyone.
She doesn't like the sport anyway, so I suppose. We get the Gryffindor hasn't won for 7 years now, which means that Charlie was an amazing seeker, but apparently the rest of the team was dog shit while he was there, which is kind of unfortunate.
I bet he always caught the snitch, but they never had enough points
to win.
Every year, Charlie's like, I caught the snitch, but they were 10 points ahead of us anyway. Why, guys?
He does go on. I feel like he's the only thing he doesn't say positive is the fact that he himself is on the team. He doesn't have anything amazing to say. I'll give him this. Whether or not he's a good keeper or not is irrelevant. He is humble regardless.
Do you want me to go turn it off?
Oh, it's not really registering, so it's fine.
Yeah, sorry about the rumbling. We honestly thought that it had gotten warmed up outside enough that we didn't even think to bother checking the damn thing at this point.
But it's,
Which
mid-April
is ironic,
in Michigan. It's still a little chilly.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, we kind of go through that whole process and everything. We get Harry returned up to the common room and everything, and I think this is the point where we have the action scene, as it were, where Ron makes a comment about the cat
Oh, yeah.
and Scabbers being in his backpack, and Crookshanks is like, say less.
I'm right here.
Hello, delicious.
I just had a delicious spider appetizer ready for the main course.
Give me that rat. Give me that rat, Ron. I want to eat it.
I love Hermione and I love Crookshanks, but God, Hermione, you need to be a better pet owner.
You also need to be a little bit more sympathetic towards your friends.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like a lot of the argument could have been solved if Hermione was willing to,
She's very prideful.
apologize.
She's very prideful.
She, not once during this whole thing does she apologize, and she pretends the entire time that the cat is perfectly, I get it, it's a cat. But I do believe that Hermione owes Ron an apology for all of the trouble that that her pet has given him. If my dog does something stupid, I'm going to apologize to the owner of whoever it's offending.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether or not the person involved did something stupid like antagonizing a 200-pound dog.
Yeah, no. But, yeah, because, in the movie, and I can't remember the exact wording in the book, in the movie, when they find Scabbers at the end, Hermione is like, I think you owe somebody an apology, and she's getting all snippy, because she thinks Ron owes her an apology. And I was like, no, bitch! You owe him an apology!
It's yeah, okay, maybe your cat didn't eat Scabbers, but still was a problem for Scabbers.
Right.
I do like that Ron looks her dead in the eye and is just sort of like, you're right. The next time I see Crookshanks, I'll apologize. I meant me. I'm like, bitch, he's been getting on your ass about making sure that cat was under control the entire time. His anger with you is entirely justified, regardless of the fact of what the creature actually is.
Alternatively, Ron, get him a nice little hamster habitat cage for rats.
Keep your rat contained. Problem solved. Both are shitty pet owners.
Get him a
to
rat
be fair,
ball.
he's poor. He doesn't have the money for this shit.
That is fair.
You're a wizard. Conjure it. Create it.
Dude, people could have... They're still struggling in their classes right now. I'm not going to, I'm giving Ron, some benefits of the doubt here, obviously.
Ask Harry.
I love how in the chapter, Hermione, gets on Ron's case about Crookshanks going after Scabbers, and she's like, he's a cat. Cats chase rats. Well, Hermione, you want to tell that to my cats? None of mine have ever gone after mice. Or anything.
You have to have mice, though, for them to chase them.
They are shitty fly hunters. Okay? The fly could be on the
fair.
ground in front of them, and they're just gonna stare at it like, what is this? And they won't do anything.
I'm convinced one of my cats might chase mice, but the others just kind of won't give a shit.
So, not
I mean-
all cats chase rats or mice, but
You just so happen to have gone out of your way to purchase the one that already was chasing after your friend's pets before you even owned it.
Yeah, Hermione's in the wrong.
She would-
Especially when we get to the next part of Lavender getting the bad news about her rabbit.
yeah.
To be
Well,
honest,
you can't have been dreading it, because it's come as quite a shock to you. Bitch, that's not how grief
That's
works.
not how grief works.
'Cause
100% personal experience from a couple months ago. Was I dreading the passing of my cat? Yes. Was I still shocked when he did die? 100%.
Yeah, because it
Woke
was
my
like,
kids
sure,
up with my
you
sobbing.
know it's gonna happen, but when it does happen, you're still like, oh,
Shit, this just happened.
to be fair, I feel the thing that she's actually been dreading is
Is the Sirius-
Snape Black,
Sirius,
Sirius Black
yeah.
breaking in.
I do think that's what
Hogwarts.
the
I feel like everybody is dreading that to some degree. The prospect of him getting in the actual freaking school.
oh.
I
no,
feel that I feel like this is a red herring.
I agree with you.
But Hermione's bedside manner over
Is
all of this
shit.
is horrible.
She kind of a bitch. Like, come
like
on.
it doesn't matter whether or not Lavender was dreading this. She just lost her pet. She's
She
obviously
doesn't need
upset.
logic right now.
You just, I'm so sorry. That's awful. And move on, Hermione.
Right. You don't need to be like, well, actually,
Yeah.
what a bitch.
Yeah. Boy.
But yeah, like this, like her like, and the worst part is that Hagrid's kind of like scolds them later on and everything as if it's their fault and everything, and they kind of go along with it because of Hagrid and everything. All I could think to myself is, if Scabbers was just a regular rat and everything, and it did in fact die, I don't see the situation in how Hermione is vindicated in a sense is changing throughout the course of the
No.
series. Because I don't
Hermione
think...
wouldn't be vindicated if it was just a regular rat and had died.
Yeah. That being said, we're only saying this because we would really, really, like, love for Peter to get his ass eaten perfectly honest.
Peter needs what's coming to him.
Yeah. Totally justified in that department.
Yeah.
Apparently I was not paying attention to everything that was going on in the narration. What happened after Lavender? Did they go to the Hogsmeade?
Yeah. And then Harry kind of wandered around and came across Lupin. Well,
Yeah,
had to fend off Colin Creevy.
Oh God.
Some of the people were actually, like, giggling and stuff, apparently, about Scabbers and stuff, but Ron is, like, still thoroughly pissed. He's like, Cat's got it in. Scabbers was here first and he's ill. Anyway, we do have, like, the fact that Ron and Hermione are still in a bad mood with each other, basically,
But
throughout
still go to
Herbology.
Hogsmeade together.
Hermione tries to ask about Scabbers and everything, but Ron's not having it. I still feel an apology is due, and it seems kind of it still pisses me off that Hermione never, like, fully apologizes for her behavior when it comes
Yeah.
to this. And I feel like if I, as a person in this situation, that would be the most infuriating part
Is
about
that you never
this.
apologize.
Yeah, like, this is why, this more than anything else, like, I know some people are some massive Hermione shippers with Harry, and some people are really set on the canon story of them together. The fact of the matter is I see them getting married, and Ron just getting bossed around the entire time. Like, he would not have any authority in the marriage. He would be told that he is wrong, and that he just needs to do what Hermione says. He would be Hermione's accessory.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I feel like
I'm
Harry
pretty sure in
wouldn't
The
be
Cursed
much
Child,
better.
he basically was.
Yeah. We don't acknowledge that book, though.
That doesn't exist.
It's not a book. It was a play.
But it
so
doesn't
it
exist.
doesn't. It's not canon.
But you get the general gist of it, and I honestly feel to a degree it would be the same if Hermione ended up with Harry. She bosses him around a lot throughout
Harry
the course
doesn't
of
I
the
feel like
series.
Harry when he definitely disagrees with Hermione would say something though.
When he feels strongly.
He stands as
But for the most part, he'd be like, "Yeah, whatever Hermione says."
I feel like that's just when Harry doesn't care one way or the other.
So he's got a slight, you know what I mean? Like, you put him into a corner enough and stuff along those lines, he will fight back against
Which is
Hermione.
another problem with the cursed child of Ginny, Bat Bogey Hex Ginny Weasley, would never just let Harry go around being like, "I wish you were my son." Whap! Smacked across the face. Shut the fuck up, Harry. Your dad doesn't mean that. He's an idiot sometimes. We love you very much.
Yeah, because in the course of the books later on, especially when they actually start dating, I think it's book 6, they are almost a power couple in a sense between the two of them, you know?
Right? Look, man, Ginny Weasley fucking... In book 6, we see that Ginny Weasley fucking runs the school, basically.
Yeah.
Like, she's popular, she's pretty, she's talented. Like...
Yeah.
She gets into the fucking in the slug club on merit alone.
Yeah. Unlike somebody else who gets dragged into it,
Like, she wasn't
kicking and screaming.
Right. And it's like she didn't get in because of her name. She didn't get in because she was just really smart. No, she was fucking that bitch.
She's a boss bitch.
She's a boss bitch.
Yeah, I feel like that one is a legit, like, Ginny would run that relationship too, but more of a, you wanna be a stupid dumb fuck again? Think twice.
It's like, Harry, I'm gonna give you a chance to change your mind about what you just said. I'm going to give you one chance to think about what you said.
Yeah. Not where, like, I would see Hermione being like, no, we're doing it this way, there's no thoughts.
Yeah. But anyway, I digress. Back to the book. And then we get the conversation with Lupin about, why didn't you let me fight the Dementor?
Oh no, I had a comment. So
And we skipped McGonagall saying no.
Oh yeah, she really was upset. Like, not upset, but like you could tell she really wanted to help him out.
She's like, man, I'd love for you to be able to go, but Sirius Black on the loose.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
You had a comment about something? Oh, sorry.
With going to Hogsmeade, so if we want to go over touch base on McGonagall first, that's...
What were you going to say, Mitch?
No, I was basically going to say the exact... Like, even if there wasn't the whole thing with Sirius Black going around, I still feel like McGonagall would have a hard time. Yeah, she's always been, like, the stickler for the rules, regardless
She
of
doesn't care if it's
fairness.
her house or Slytherin. The rules are the rules.
However, I do feel like she would say something along the lines of, as long as I get a signed permission slip.
Yeah.
So she would have turned a blind eye to somebody forging it, I think. But because Sirius Black, she wouldn't.
Yeah. And because, like, they think Sirius is after Harry, like, 100%. Yeah, like, she's like, no.
She's like, no.
So then they go to Hogsmeade. And what is it that Draco said? Afraid of going past the Dementors?
Yeah, he's got some sort of offhand
Dude,
comment.
if I was Harry, I would have been like, no, I just don't feel like going there with your stupid ass.
Right.
He's not in, like, the best mood when it comes to,
Which
like,
is fair.
you know...
He woke up depressed.
Like, oh, shucks. Sad day. Kicking rocks.
One is the loneliest number that you ever do. Two can be as bad as one. It's the loneliest number since the number one.
Alright, quick before we copyright strike. What happened next?
Lupin.
Yeah, we get brought into it.
And Lupin has the Grindylow.
Not Grindylows. We make fun of Fleur and everything, but to be perfectly honest, apparently the rivalry between for the Triwizard Tournament is Hogwarts versus
Beauxbatons?
what's on? Yeah, they both are evenly split basically in terms of victories. Apparently,
kinda...
0. They've never won a Triwizard tournament the entire time they've actually been participating, apparently.
Because Durmstrang just doesn't care enough.
Durmstrang doesn't... Here's the theory that somebody mentioned on one of the podcasts.
I'm not here to win, I'm here to beat the other people up.
I'm here for
They
Dark.
don't learn defense against
They
the
are
dark
offense.
arts.
Yeah, because they are offense.
They know how to use the dark arts, but since the challenge isn't using them on other students, they
Most of it is
can't
defending,
do anything.
yeah.
Yeah, because the other two
It's
schools
like,
learn how to
the
defend
greatest
against
defense is a
monsters
good
like
offense.
this. They know what they're dealing with. Ironically enough,
You know what?
I feel like Crumb does a better job than Fleur.
I would
But
make a joke. It makes sense that the Bobaxons is good at it because they're good at running away because, they're French.
don't make fun of the French. They're brave.
But they're
they've
great
got-
at revolutions.
Oh, yeah.
You might not revolution.
Let's be perfectly honest. They're doing a much better job of keeping their government in check than we are currently.
Yeah, because of all the revolutions.
People, I get the feeling being a French politician would be a lot more like nerve-wracking than being one in the United States.
Yeah,
They broke
because
out the
of all the
guillotine once.
revolutions.
They broke out the guillotine once.
Look, man.
And it kept everyone in line afterwards.
Hasn't France had a revolution in the last decade? Like, it wasn't
They've had a shutdown of everything when they tried to increase the retirement age, and
the country
they-
said
they gra-
fuck no.
the
the people said nope.
And they ground
fixed
everything to a halt.
Yeah, we
Yep.
need to take a page out of France's book.
Yeah, that's not going to happen when we've got half the population deluded into thinking the person currently in charge has their best interests in heart. The stripper doesn't like you, dumbass. Anyway,
But the Grinzilla.
we do get a moment where he goes back upstairs, wakes up the fat lady, gets bothered by Cullen, turns back around, runs into Filch, and gets sent back upwards before getting interrupted by...
But we forgot that the fat lady was like, what was the point?
I'll just stay open. Why won't I?
What if I just needed to go get a book?
Yeah.
To go to the library? The book from the library.
It's still...
Well, what if I was going to get my book in parchment to go to the library to study?
Here's the thing, though. I would either want Hufflepuff or Slytherin's common room. One, Slytherin has a password system, but doesn't have the frickin' picture to sass me for going in and out. And Hufflepuff has the little knock thing.
Yeah.
The Helga Hufflepuff knock on the certain barrel to get in.
The worst part about the Slytherin common room is just the racism.
I feel like the environment sounds awesome. If I recall correctly, they had a view of the fucking the lake
the common
underwater.
room is great.
Look,
the occupants not so much.
Yeah. By the way, back to the French Revolution's the guillotine was last used in France in 1977.
Wow. That's
If I recall correctly, I think a very special actor was one of the people that actually witnessed the last public execution in France as well.
Sir Christopher Lee.
Yep, he was actually there to witness the last public execution in France. So it was in the last. I know for a fact that the last viewable execution was in the last 100 years or so. So
Speaking of public executions, what was it? Last chapter, I had this thought.
I don't know if these were public. These were just guillotine executions.
He saw it.
But the last chapter with Snape and Trevor, the potion, the Slytherins 100% public execution. Let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back far enough. We really don't have anything to do on a Saturday. We might as well.
I mean, yeah.
Nothing quite like a little decapitation to really get the blood flowing.
Look,
Do you even know what that's from?
Nope, but I've heard it.
It's from Brutal Legends. It's a video game starring Jack Black. And it's also based off of classic rock as well, including people like Ozzy Osbourne and everything. So it's definitely...
So you're saying it's up my alley and I should look at it?
I don't know. How good are you at RTSs?
What does RTS stand for?
Real-time strategy game. Command and Conquer? Are you familiar with Command and Conquer? Alright. Fair enough. I don't know
I'll
if
figure
you,
it out off camera.
I don't think you'll actually appreciate it. I feel like you could sit and watch a playthrough of the game. I feel like that's as far as you're gonna go
Possibly.
with it.
I mean, I got so many crafty things. Do I even have time to play video games anymore?
Fair enough.
What's a video game?
I know. I need a time turner so I can do all the things I want to do.
I
You
just
know that's a
need-
lie. You're gonna use the time turner and just do more knitting.
I don't want a time turner.
I want a time turner to do all the things I want to do.
I want
Not all the things I need to do.
See, I don't want a time turner. I want a pocket dimension where no time in the real world passes. So, and I can spend as much time as I want there. I can sleep.
But I don't age, right?
No.
Yes,
don't age.
I want that.
I can sleep. I can work out. I can do all my crafts. And then I can come back and be like, hello.
So we want a TARDIS? Because we can come right back to the moment we left.
Not
You
to
still
say,
age
you
in the
still
TARDIS,
age.
though.
That's fair.
And I don't want to have to interact with other people.
I feel like the Doctor would drag you into some shenanigans if you were hanging out. with
Absolutely.
TARDIS. That does make me question, though, whether or not there's like a companion that disappeared in the TARDIS and everything, and the Doctor just forgot about them.
And they're just still there in the
They're just
library,
still
knitting
there.
away.
They're in the library. They're in the pool. Or they're somewhere. Like the TARDIS exploded on a couple of occasions, so everything got rearranged. They're a little annoyed about that, but there's just some gremlin wandering around inside of the TARDIS.
I mean,
Basically.
where do you
Damn
think
it,
he
he
gets all his
redecorated again.
Where do you think he gets all his outfits from? Somebody had to make them.
Better got the person in the actual TARDIS is wearing the older versions of the Doctor's clothes, basically. Like
Yeah,
they
these
go to...
Converse are pretty comfy.
Yeah, wow. Wonder where they came from.
Get rid of the fez, though. No fezzes.
Blasphemy. Fezzes are cool. Anyway, we finally get the conversation with Lupin after getting scolded by Filch. And we get the water demon from the Glindy world.
I think it's falling apart there, man. Grindy woe.
The Grinzilo.
I can't do a perfect
You
French
work on your
accent.
French accent.
I refuse. Stupid Americans. Anyway.
That was actually pretty good.
I think that's probably the only bit of a French accent I can really do. And I blame Courage the Cowardly Dog. There was a Frenchman in there that was always saying stupid Americans. And I as a kid, I found it the most amusing thing in the world. And I was
Le
like,
Duc?
no, there was a short Napoleon French dude
Oh, yeah.
that would occasionally walk through a
He had the
scene.
Napoleon outfit, too, didn't
Wait,
he?
Yeah,
In what show?
Courage
Courage the
the
Cowardly Dog.
I'm pretty sure it was the duck.
No,
there was a duck.
Napoleon.
There was a duck, but there was also a stuck-up French guy that would wander around. There was an episode where they were in the Louvre and everything, and all the portraits came to life. And he was in that episode specifically. Because that's where I remember him from. Because the Thinker forced Eustace into his position, basically.
I
And
vaguely
Eustace is
remember Eustace.
leaning forward, he's like, could somebody please scratch my back? And the guy walks past and stares at him, he's like, stupid American. Dumbass. Like, how dumbass, you got screwed over by the Thinker of all things. And the problem is the Mona Lisa went on a date with the Thinker and everything. And she's, like, really irritated with the Thinker because he's constantly trying to decide between two things and she just wants love. Well, if you're not going to, hold me in my hands and love me like I deserve and stuff along those lines, I'm going to find someone who does. But, like, I remember that episode. It was, like, one of my personal
Yeah,
favorites.
you're right. There's a little a little Napoleon.
Vindication! Yes! I win again.
Shows how much I've seen the show.
Honestly, I never watched much of it because that show scared the shit out of me
I
back
never
when I was a
had
kid.
cable, so
We had cable. The series itself scared me, so, like, it had to have been a really good episode for me to sit down and actually watch it. It would have been one of the rare occasions I would have jumped over to Nickelodeon or something.
Why do I have the sudden urge to see how our kids would react to Courage the Cowardly Dog?
My kids are broken. They'd look at us like we're freaking crazy.
You're right. They watch Jurassic Park for fun.
Yeah. Don't even bring that up. Anyway, we get Lupin in and stuff along those lines. We have a brief moment where Harry considers talking to Lupin about the shaggy dog at Magnolia Crescent.
The Grim.
And I really think that if Harry opened up about this here and then, that Lupin would have started getting suspicious about what it exactly is that Sirius Black is doing. Especially after what happens at the end of this chapter when they find out that he broke in. And everybody's like, well, it's weird that he tried to break in while everybody's at the feast and everything. And it's just like, or maybe that was entirely by design, and that what he's after isn't a student. And I feel like Lupin would have potentially picked up on that realization right there and then. He would have been like, wait, I've known this guy for a while. Even if he's gone completely batshit crazy, he's not stupid.
But he could have tried to get in without being detected and hide under Harry's bed.
Which is probably what his original thought process is in the unaltered continuity. I feel if Harry owned up to the idea that there was a black dog that scared the shit out of him after he ran out, but didn't do anything, that would put enough reasonable doubt in Lupin's mind to start wondering exactly what it is Sirius Black is after.
Because any of the adults would have been like, wait, so Sirius has found him, had a perfect opportunity to kill him, but didn't do it.
Yeah. And before anybody's like, well, there was 2 other wizards there. Dude, Stan Shunpike just got out of frickin' Hogwarts, and the other guy's an old man, and everybody else on that bus is tired.
Because Harry saw Sirius, the Grim, before the night bus.
Yeah, but he startled him and activated the night bus a couple of seconds later. So even if Sirius Black was right there and willing to kill him and everything, it would have taken a couple of seconds to actually get to him, because he wouldn't have had a wand. He would have only been a dog.
And he could have easily done what he did to Ron, just grab him and pull him into the bushes.
Yeah. What's a frickin' 17-year-old going to do and an old man driving a bus going to do in this moment?
Dude, I'm 30, but if I had seen a big black dog dragging a kid off, I would have been like, what's the Muggle... How do you call the Muggle police?
What do we... what do we... I'm sure one of them might, get their balls and everything and chase after Harry, but... This is a big-ass freaking dog capable of dragging Ron God knows how long without letting them catch up to him, basically. The dog's got to be physically fit. Physically strong to some degree and everything. Harry's dead right there and then if Sirius Black has anything besides pure intention.
If that was the intent, yeah.
And I feel like Lupin would have known at that point in time that something was up. And he could have potentially gone to Dumbledore before this got any more out of hand.
Because if you think about it, if you have a dog that is intent on attacking you, it's just going to bite whatever it can get to.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a dog that's actually a human who knows where the soft parts are and where to go for a killing blow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like this could, that moment right there has 2 moments. Sirius Black could have revealed himself at Magnolia Crescent, like in our fan fiction that we wrote God knows how many years ago. Or Lupin gets informed of the fact that Sirius Black potentially popped up and everything. And if Harry talks to him about it once, he might be willing to say that I just saw the exact same black dog again, standing in one of the stands during the Quidditch match before the Dementors popped up.
No, but that's later in this.
I know.
Okay,
I'm not saying he says it now. I'm saying after he sees
when
it.
it happens.
You know what I mean? Because if he's already opened about it once and everything with his concerns, I figure he'd be willing to do it again.
Right. Sorry, we got confused while we were listening to it, thinking that Quidditch match had happened because you're reading this to our daughter and you're 4 or 5 chapters ahead.
I think we're roughly around the same spot, but I'm still ahead from my daughter at this point.
Yeah,
we're gonna pass that fairly
quickly. But yeah, overhearing him reading it, they've definitely done that Quidditch match. So I thought just now that you were misremembering places again, because I've been all over the place in this book too.
I do like the moment where they talk about the fears and stuff along those lines, with Harry mentioning eventually saying the Dementor would be the big issue. Which, considering he's faced Voldemort twice, and the only thing that's actually knocked him on his ass in his 3 years in the magical world is, in fact, the Dementors, I can see that being a much more legit concern for him.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have looked at it, it's just like,
Voldemort? Really? You think it's gonna be Voldemort? Dude, I've dealt with him twice already. He's a chump. Come on, seriously.
I can take that down. I can take him down blindfold. I've taken him down 3 times.
Yeah, once I wasn't even out of diapers yet. Like, seriously, why would he be my first concern?
But, yeah, Snape coming in here acting like the most...
Suspicious.
Yeah.
We're laughing because our dog is sleeping behind his chair and his blanket fell on the dog. And the dog's just laying there sleeping still.
As they do.
I love this dog so much. He's my favorite.
He's your favorite?
I took a picture of him. My battery's almost dying on my phone again and everything, so I can't do too much on it. But, yeah, like... Snape does himself absolutely no freaking favors. This whole scene, he's acting like he just poisoned someone, and I'm like, dude, come on. Like, I know it's perfectly fine. We know what it is towards the end of the series. Lupin knows what it is. But
as
dear
Hermione
God.
will point out later, Snape's not stupid enough to do it in front of you. He's not going to kill another teacher in front of you.
To be fair, though, he wouldn't really have much of a choice, though. He walked into the room, basically, sees Harry, and he's like, well, if I take this back, Lupin's going to be impossible to poison now. It's either do it now or I have to explain why I didn't make the potion properly that I just walked into the room with. You're kind of screwed in that department. You know, that's a good counter-argument to Hermione knowing it all.
You can't tell me that if you are sly enough, you were gonna try and poison someone with a potion, okay? Walk in the room, shit, witness, stumble, spill, shit, let me go get a new one.
Yeah, I don't really see anybody buying that for $1, as it were, but, you know, fair enough, I suppose.
It'd be worth a try.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
But I love how Harry has the initial thought of, I should knock that out of Lupin's hand.
He is so instinctively thinking about how to help other people and everything that automatic impulse is like... honestly, though, Snape is like the one person his danger sense never really works on. 9 times out of 10, Harry's got like perfectly damn good instincts when it comes to dealing with people and problems and stuff. This is one of the rare occasions he doesn't have the number
And then
right.
when Snape is the danger, he's like,
To be fair, when
too
Snape is the danger and everything, he is complaining about him all throughout that book, basically.
It becomes Boy Who Cried Wolf.
No, he's technically spot on. The problem is Dumbledore knows and is part of the plan, you know?
Oh yeah.
It's a little difficult to warn a person of danger if they're willingly walking directly into it. But yeah, we get the empty of the goblet and everything with Lupin, and then we jump again to talking with the trio and everything about what's going on with that. Yeah, we get a conversation about honeydukes and stuff along those lines, and...
They dump a load of candy on his lap, right?
Yeah.
We don't really get to talk about the actual Halloween feast or what's going on for it. Like,
It's just, they're there, Lupin's chatting animatedly with Flitwick,
yeah.
and then they go back upstairs.
They're which is kind of depressing, because, like, the last time, like, in book 2, they actually discussed that Dumbledore actually invited guests to perform for the actual Halloween feast and everything. So it seems kind of weird.
To the feast.
Yeah. I didn't say they did.
Oh.
I said Dumbledore rumored to have hired in a group of dancing skeletons or something along those lines for one of the years or something along those lines.
And then, of course, year 1 we have the troll.
Yeah, they don't really mention anything about that and everything. So it's kind of odd that there really isn't anything that goes into serious detail. Because every year so far it's been interrupted by one thing or another.
Yeah.
Yeah. They continued talking about that and everything for a good while before eventually heading up. And of course, we get the scene where, like, the portrait's not opening. What the hell's going on here?
I love the detail in the movie of they're like, Neville forgot the password again. I'm right here.
Yeah.
It's
But it's not always me.
And then, of course, in the book, you actually have Percy coming through. Let me through! I'm head boy!
He does
Oh,
this.
God, it's been 2 chapters. I forgot, Percy.
He does mention it, I think, in this chapter.
What? That
Okay, yeah, let me through, please, came Percy's voice.
Yeah.
What's the hold up here? You can't have all forgotten the password. Excuse me, I'm head boy.
Yeah, I know it was
Ginny
in the book.
makes a comment as well in this as well. What's going on, Ginny, who just arrived a moment later? Dumbledore was there sweeping up towards the portrait, Gryffindor squeezing together to let him through. And then they have, like, the chill of people, like, getting that, like, chill and stuff.
The realization spreading.
Yeah, as Peeves basically ends the chapter saying, nasty temper he's got, that Sirius Black.
Dun dun dun.
Honestly, pretty effective way to actually end the chapter. And of course, chapter 9, it's a little early, the grim defeat, and they got a picture of a curled up dog!
Little puppy!
He's so cute!
We'll have to,
look at the baby.
we'll have to go over that one for sure. But why did you put it
God, oh man. Death couldn't come in a more adorable form in my
Take me,
personal
I'm ready.
opinion.
I
Exactly.
mean, I don't know. Have you seen black-footed sand cats?
I think
They're
I have.
they're the most deadly cat because they have the most the highest percentage of kills per hunt. But they're like house cat or smaller size.
He's so cute. We stand adorable animals here on this podcast. Oh, dang it. The dog's no longer under the blanket.
Kind of. He's getting up.
He's and now it's fully he's staticky now.
Oh, it's okay.
The staticky baby.
Who's my baby? Who's my baby? Crispy, I blame you because you kept calling your dog your baby, and now I've caught it. I hope you're happy if you ever hear this podcast and stuff along those lines. I have now used that exact same phrase with the same frickin' inflection, you bastard.
You say that like we don't already say he's a dum-dum. He's our dum-dum.
Yes, you're dumb. Yes,
Who's a big dum dum?
he's got a
He's
dopey.
a big dum dum.
He's incredibly smart, but he thinks his nickname is Dum-Dum.
His name is Dum Dum.
He responds to it. It's great.
It's.
Hi, Dum-Dum.
I say that with all love and endearment and everything. He's my Dum Dum.
Just like we called my cat asshole.
Miss Rumple. He was a good
He was
cat.
my asshole.
All right, let's put a pin in this and post our stuff. Kimmy
Luna's
went
Creation Corner on social media.
first last time, so babe, would you like to go next?
You can find me on YouTube at Brandywine Stitches or the rest of the socials at Hockeytown Candle Co.
Since we're doing 2 episodes in a single night, no changes for me have been made since the previous episode in terms of where to find me.
But where can they find you?
Cole Sanders, Coal Sanders, on Twitch. If you want to watch me play stupid JRPGs and the occasional like multiplayer games and stuff that I actually run through. Be more than happy to see you on Mondays and Wednesdays. I usually only stream for about an hour, around 6, 7 o'clock, give or take.
Somewhere in there.
Being a parent, you kind of have to play your schedule and
Flexible.
things a little flexibly.
But in the meantime, like, comment, subscribe.
And keep your wands at the ready.